Hello, fellow flashlight nerds. Syntax77 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Olight S2R Baton II LED flashlight for everyday carry. This light actually just came out a few days ago. It is the successor to the S2R Baton original. It's about 5% shorter and boosts the output by around 100 lumens or so. I was fortunate enough to get my hands on this pre-release, so I'm going to share with you all the specs, detail, operating modes, and of course my thoughts on using it. My main kind of mode of operation or use for flashlights is from the perspective of everyday carry. I carry one every day, as well as camping and backpacking. I also want to point out the reason that I am sharing this today is, just as a heads up to my viewers, on Friday, November 9th, 2018, they're going to be running a flash sale, 30% off all day. That's tomorrow morning if you're watching this upon release. So check that out. Links are in the video description. You can go right through Olight or Amazon if you're already in the market for this and you want to save some dough. Another thing I want to bring up real quick is Olight did actually send me 2 of these. I did check with them to make sure they did that on purpose, and they said, yeah, go ahead and give one to one of your viewers. So that's what I'm going to do. I set up a link that's in that video description as well. There's no catches. You don't have to subscribe to the channel or like or tweet out some weird message on Twitter. Just use the link, enter your email, and you're good to go. I used Rafflecopter, so I had to have some sort of stipulation. I picked the easiest one I could. Just click the button to open up my Facebook page. You don't have to like or follow it. Matter of fact, you can close it immediately. Once you do, you'll be able to enter. And 1 week from now, a viewer will be randomly chosen, and I'll go ahead and pop that in the mail myself and get you that flashlight. So let's get into it. The first thing I noticed about this flashlight is it does remind me a lot of 2 other flashlights that I've reviewed from Olight before, most notably the S1R Baton right there that I reviewed not too long ago. It's very similar to that. Obviously, it's half the length, and it's got a shorter battery in there. The S2R is an 18650 battery platform, and the S1R is an SMR 16340, so it's a smaller battery. Obviously, that makes it shorter, but on top of that, if you're familiar or if you'd like to see, it is a narrower battery in the S1R as well, so it does have a bit of a wider profile on the S2R, which also means that it has a wider reflector. The beams are very similar in appearance, but it is going to be a bit of a larger flood on the S2R. The other light it reminds me of is the H2R Nova, which I reviewed from Olight, and that one is set up to be dual-purposed as a everyday carry flashlight or a headlamp, so it has a 90-degree angle light on it. The advantage of that system, obviously, is you can use it as a headlamp. The advantage of this system is the front-mounted light there, so it's going to be a lot quicker target acquisition when you pull this out because the light is always facing forward. Pretty simple. You don't have to worry about where the beam is, so you're going to get this out and pointed in the right direction quicker. Compared to the S1R in terms of light output, they're actually very similar. This one goes up to 1,000 lumens. The H2R goes up to 1,150 lumens. The main difference is going to be in run times between the 2 of these because of that larger 18650 battery. For that reason, for me personally, remember I said my perspective is kind of camping and backpacking, the S1R would kind of be my 3-season, summer, fall, spring flashlight. The S2R I would consider more of my winter backpacking and camping flashlight because on winter trips, you're going to see your batteries get beat up a lot quicker. Those run times are going to suffer in super cold temps, which is what I usually camp in up north in New Hampshire. On top of that, camping wise, things are going to be a lot more critical in the winter. So compared to 3-season camping where it's no big deal if you're stumbling around without a light, in the winter, I'm going to want to make sure that I have lots of light readily available. And with these extra run times that we'll get into, I can have this thing running and not worrying about it around camp for extra long times. On the table here, you'll see everything that comes with it. You have the little pouch they give you. There is a spare pocket clip, which is nice. That's black. The one on it that comes installed is blue. And that's nice because sometimes you do take these clips off, and if you lose it, well, that's no good. So a spare is nice. You get the charging cable with the magnetic attachment there for the tail cap. So you can very easily pop that on there and charge and pop it off when you go. Me personally, I've had a few of these Olights that come with this, so I keep one of these in my Jeep all the time, and it makes it real easy to just plug in and charge up in between being outside of the vehicle. The lanyard, of course, I always like to keep one attached. I find it gives it a little more purchase when fishing around in a pocket for it, and then, of course, you can use the little toggle there to cinch it down on your wrist and make sure that it doesn't go anywhere if you drop it. The body is a T6 aluminum alloy, and it does have that textured knurling kind of pattern on there, the same as my S1R actually. So I found with both of these, for wet conditions, I'm going to have a nice grip on that, particularly in snow or rain, stuff like that. On the back is the magnetic tail that will accept that charger we saw, and then also because the magnet is actually in here, it will adhere to any metal surface. So if you're doing work around the house or the garage, whatever it may be, you can stick it to something metal and makes your task a little easier. Spinning around, we see the tail clip there. That is the standard Olight tail clip, and it is reversible, so you can slide down through there or right there. So if you want to carry it in your pocket, either lens up or down, that's your choice. I usually find lens up works for me, and I keep it right in my back pocket. Now this is a bit of a larger light compared to that S1R, so if you're looking for something that you really can't tell is in your pocket, maybe go with that guy. But this one, at a weight of 98.5 grams, is still not that bad in your pocket. That's around 3.5 ounces, and I found back pocket carry is really not that bad. If you're in kind of a formal situation, you want to go with like a thinner pen light, etc. But for just some jeans doing work and around town, it's not terribly noticeable. In fact, to give it kind of the worst case scenario sort of test, I actually had it in a pair of gym shorts in the pocket, and I wore it around all day. Surprisingly, wasn't that noticeable, so not too bad. Another thing to mention about that tail clip is that it is fixed in place. It will not rotate around all willy-nilly. So why is that good? I find that convenient for muscle memory. I always know when I pull this out that the tail clip is opposite the power button, which allows me to turn it on and off really quickly and get it pointed where it needs to be pointed. Taking a close-up look at the lens there, you can see the reflector inside, very similar, like I said, to the S1R, but it is a little wider, so it does throw a wider flood at similar distance. 7500K, that is the color temperature of this. That is on the cooler end of the spectrum compared to, say, the orange color of incandescent light, which is down towards 2500 or 3000K. You can see the 18650 battery in there. This is a customized proprietary battery from Olight, but you could put any 18650 you want in there, although Olight does often say that the max output and runtime specs are based on their proprietary battery. And you could also, I should mention, if you're worried about losing that charging cable, just charge this in a standard charger. So let's go through operation real quick. Pretty simple and pretty standard to all the Olights. Click it once, obviously it's going to turn on. If I hold it down, it's going to cycle through low, medium, high. Just like that. And if I really want to juice it up to the full 1150 lumens, double click, and there you go. That is turbo. After 2 minutes, that is going to step down to 400 lumens, and that is to protect the unit, particularly the battery, from overheating or any other potential issues from running that much drain. Two other modes that this does is moonlight mode. You're just going to hold it down until it comes on, and it will be in that half lumen mode with a 60-day runtime. Pretty crazy, right? I find that plenty of light for hanging off a ridgeline on my hammock or in my tent while camping. If we triple click, it will go into a strobe mode. If you're into strobes, it does not do a beacon or SOS mode, so if that's important to you, be aware of that. If you want to do a timer, it does a 3-minute or a 9-minute timer, after which it will shut off. So basically, you just put it in any mode you'd like. Then double click but hold on the second press. It blinks once. That means it's doing a 3-minute timer right now. If I do that again, blinks twice, and now it's on a 9-minute timer, and it will shut off after that time is up. Last but not least, there is a lockout mode. If you want to put this in some luggage or any area where you're afraid it might get turned on, there is no reason to loosen the tail cap or anything like that. All you have to do is, similar to going into moonlight mode, you want to hold this down but continue holding it. It comes on and then goes off, and now it's locked out. So if I press this button now, nothing's happening. And if I want to exit lockout mode, pretty simple, just same thing. Hold down until it comes on, and now it's back to regular operating procedure. There's turbo, blew the camera out. Let's take a look at how that tail cap works real quick. Like I said, just clicks right on there. There is a light on the end to show you. In this case, it's red, meaning it's not fully charged. Once it is, it'll turn green. It's also nice on a bedside table or something. That little bit of light kind of gives you an idea of where your light is in the middle of the night. Speaking of charging, when you're in the field, you can easily tell how much battery life is left on this On mine right now, it is almost fully charged, so it's green. That means 70 to 100% power. If it's yellow, it's between 15% and 70% charged. And if it's red, you've got less than 15%. Time to charge it up. In terms of water resistance, it is rated IPX8, which is nice. It means you can fully submerge it up to half an hour as per the IPX standards. And in the case of this flashlight, up to 2 meters. Drop test rated to 1.5 meters as well. So let's go ahead now and pull up a chart for the various lighting modes in terms of the light output and run times. The half lumen mode, it's going to run 60 days. Low, it's 15 lumens for 100 hours. Medium, 120 lumens for 14 hours. High, 400 lumens for 4 hours. The turbo mode, which we mentioned, which will run for 2 minutes at 1150 lumens. And then it'll step down to 400 lumens and run for another 230 minutes. So like I was saying before, this light really shines when it comes to run times. As with most Olights, it does have a memory function, meaning that it will remember your preferred lighting levels. So I'm just going to set mine to medium and turn it off. And when I come back, it's still in medium. Same would go for low or moonlight. One caveat is with the high mode, it will memorize that for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, it'll come back on in medium. That's just what it reverts to. And also for turbo, double click, there's turbo. If I turn it off, next time I turn it on, it will come back on in high. And that same caveat does stick. After 10 minutes, it would actually come back on in medium. Aiming it down at the table there from just maybe a foot away, you can see it does have a bright hotspot in the middle surrounded by the flood, and no real artifacts in there or anything like that. Form factor wise, I do find for me personally, it does fit in the hand quite well. I get a nice purchase on it, particularly if I'm wearing gloves in a colder weather situation, less fumbling around. The trade-off, of course, is the higher weight compared to something like my SR1, but I'm going to be fumbling around a lot less and less likelihood that I drop it or lose track of it. Now, I do wear the lanyard, so it's not the end of the world, but it just does have a nicer feel in the hand. So there you go. I think that pretty much covers all the specs and operating procedures for this light. I do like it for situations where I'm willing to carry a little bit more weight in exchange for high lumen output, but still getting long run times. And for me, like I said, that's probably going to be for like winter or cold weather backpacking, etc. But even around town, like I said, it does fit in a pocket reasonably well, considering the features that it gives you. So there you have it, the Olight S2R Baton II LED everyday carry flashlight system. Till next time, I'm Syntax77, and you have fun out there.